Hello, welcome back to Messages with MaYorÄ. We are discussing a topic that I have thought about for quite some time. I am a Black American woman with descent from the Caribbean, from Guyana, Trinidad, and Jamaica on my mother's side, and my dad's side, we're Black American. And more, I have been really valuing and embodying and embracing being a Black American woman, because for a while I was like just so proud to be Caribbean and being, which I'm very proud of that descent as well, but also just being proud to be who I am here, not fuck with America, but embracing my nationality because of the other amazing Black American woman and Black American people in totality, and how powerful we are as Black American people, how we literally take nothing and make it into everything, how we've birthed and created so much of this world. Our impact is lifelines. We've created so much as Black American people. So I had to embrace that, because for a long time I just didn't. I think it's easy to, especially growing up, right? I think as a child, it's like everybody wants to be mixed with something. Everybody wants to identify something as, not as Black American. Oh, I'm Indian, or I'm mixed with this and that. Like, no. Embrace who you are. This is America. So this is the immigrant land, basically. You know what I'm saying? No matter what the white man and the white people try to brainwash people into believing, we're all immigrants to this land. So it's easy, to want to embody that, and I do. Embrace and embody your culture and learn your culture. It's so beautiful to have a culture outside of America. Truly. That has shaped and impacted me in totality. I'm grateful for my Caribbean descent, because that, with my Black American, oh bitch, it's over. I can do anything. I know that it comes from both descent, because they both experience so much in trying to fulfill their dreams that now that's been instilled in me to fulfill mine. So that's what I look at it as now. And it's just so powerful. It's like Miss Tina said, it's so much beauty in being Black. It really is. It really is. I'm so grateful. I want to get into the systems as the Black American system that we are oppressed in, right? So majority of Black Americans live in survival mode, because that's the only mode that we know. That is from going back to slavery, for real, on some real shit. Going back to slavery, we have lived in survival mode since then, because this country has never, ever wanted equality. I hate living here, and that's why I'm so ready to leave. I'm doing everything in my power to experience so much more outside of here, because if this is all you experience, which is how a lot of Black Americans are, this is all they've ever experienced. Majority of Black Americans have not even left the country, for real, if we're being real. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, you have to look at it as people are only as smart as they know. So if they don't know much, or if this is all they know, then that's all they're going to think that they have and they are accessible to in life. And that is what has caused repeated cycles in life and generations of people just settling and accepting what the government, what the systems here have told them is normal, is acceptable, and is life. Some people have been so conditioned to thinking that living in survival mode is life, when it's not. It's not. But it's such a weight, and it's so generational. Like, that's a generational curse right there. It's so many generational curses that we have been piled upon, from lack of awareness and just from being in survival mode. The lack of awareness stems from survival mode, because it's like, shit, I don't even have the time to think, of doing something outside of what I know. So I'm just do what I know so I can live and survive, so I can breathe and eat for the next meal, for the next day. So I have rent to pay this month. I can't even get out of the survival mode that I'm living in, and even try to pursue something else, because for one, I don't believe in myself, and for two, I don't have the funds and to start something new, to start a new life. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. Living in Philly changed, and that's why I'm very grateful. I was just saying this to myself, how I've been able to live in many different cities and seeing how different livelihood is, you know, seeing how different people perceive life in different places based off of what they know. And living in Philly to me was very eye-opening, because everybody's living in fucking survival mode. If you're not living in survival mode financially, you're living in survival mode fucking in real life, because niggas is not playing up there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you always are on this, you're like living in fear. Living in survival mode is living in fear. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's a mental cloudiness and thinking that this is all that life is. And not to say that living in survival means that you think that's all that life is, but you're so overwhelmed with that feeling that it's hard to breathe. It's hard to breathe, and it's hard to, like I said, believe in yourself and aspire to do other things. That's just the start of it, right? So living in survival mode. The majority of us are, as Black Americans. Even now, my family, we still live in survival mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't come from a family full of wealth and money. Like, no. I've had to work hard to get every opportunity that I've been blessed with, and every experience I've been blessed with. I work hard as hell. Anybody that knows me, I keep a fucking job on side of me doing my actual passions, because I don't have nobody funding my life. Shit. I'm sleeping on 2 couches right now. Every time I'm home, I don't have my own space. I'm literally couch hopping, but in places that I call home. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to have places to lay my head, because I know that, and I see it so presently in my life of living in survival mode. I know that majority of us are. You know what I'm saying? Or we're not. But like, from my personal experience, like, it's a mental cloudiness. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a child, I feel like I always knew what the hell I was here to do. And I knew that it's so much more than the life that I was living. It's like I could see it so clearly. I could vision the things that I was going to do and the things that I wanted to do so young. Like, that's a whole nother conversation. Living in survival mode, right, goes into living in survival emotions, right? So if you're living in survival mode, you don't have time to think about how you feel. That is the majority of why so many Black people cannot express themselves when it comes to loving, even just like crying, you know, being emotional. We have shut ourselves out from emotion because we're living in fear of being hurt, right? So many people are living in fear of being hurt, but that also comes from living in survival mode, because that stems from you seeing that from parents, you know, or just other people in your life who lived in survival emotions, who didn't regard how they truly felt deep within themselves, or even took the time to figure out how they do feel for real. So now you're 20 something and you can't express yourself, or you don't know how you feel about nothing, or you don't want to feel. So now you just numb. And I know a lot of people that are numb because they just have never had the time or opportunity to really get to know their feelings and their emotions and expressing them. And that is majority of Black families. It really is. So many, like, we come from a lot of broken homes, and it's not even just on a baby mama, baby father side. It's not even that. It's just on an emotional level. Like, people can't even express themselves. Like, my family don't ask me how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I've never had that. I can't even think about when my family asked me a question like that. You know what I'm saying? It's sad. We've belittled what emotions and feelings really are, because they really are so powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you utilize them and you understand yourself and you don't allow them to overcome you, then you become so powerful within your emotions. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's sad that majority of Black Americans are living in survival emotions and not allowing ourselves to really feel to the fullest extent, to love to the fullest extent, to know what love is. So many of us have settled for what we see because what we see is what we know. So that's all that you know, and you think that's what love is, then you never know, because you never even took the time to love yourself first and define emotions for yourself. That's the realest thing, is defining emotions for yourself and not allowing what you see as from others, or what you see on TV, or what you see in movies, because that's how I learned a lot of things, I feel like. So, as a child, you're just absorbing everything. You absorb everything you see because you think that's the way to be, or that's the way to do. But if you never evolve from that, and you never take the time to learn as an adult, then you'll be stuck living in the same emotions, living in survival emotions, because you never took the time to heal or just pursue yourself. But let's continue. So living in survival emotions, right, does not allow you to sustain higher elevated emotions, which makes it difficult. And when I say higher elevated emotions, I mean levels of empowerment. Like when Becoming Supernatural is a book I've been reading for a year, but I'm big like retainer. I want to retain the information. I want to look back into the book. I want to underline, I reread. I like to really learn. So with this book, I've kind of just gone with it, and I just trust my intuition too. I trust my intuition so much that when I feel like I'm doing right, I do need to read more though. Let's be real. I do need to read more. But my mind is always on go. So sometimes it's just like I be wanting to feel like I need to do 1,000 things in a day. In Becoming Supernatural, he talks about elevated emotions, high elevated emotions, right? And that's feeling gratitude, feelings of gratitude, feelings of feeling empowered, feeling unstoppable, feeling divine, feeling infinite. Those are high elevated emotions, right? Meaning that these are emotions that you feel in this headspace of yourself, and you're throwing up. And so many people don't even make it that far because they're living in survival emotions. They're living in shame and guilt and jealousy and hate. You know what I'm saying? All these lower emotions, and it just keeps repeating the same shit in their lives. They wonder why things aren't changing for them. They wonder why they keep creating the same experiences and attracting the same people, and life has not evolved for them because they're still living in the same level of emotions. But if you come from living in survival mode and then you're living in survival emotions, you have to do the work to ascend to higher. You have to move from living in these lower vibrations, because that's what they want to keep us as Black Americans, in a low vibrational state, because they know how powerful we are. They know how invincible we are. So they keep us in these low vibrational states, so then we can't ascend. So then it becomes harder to ascend to these higher levels of yourself, and having this clarity and light bulb and seeing everything clearly. They want to keep us blinded. They want to keep us, masked from what is the reality of our living predicaments, and not even living predicaments, but just the systems in place to keep us here and keep them here. And we're not talking about on an energetic level, but just on a monetary level. But money isn't everything. So if you upgrade your energy, then you already are naturally upgrading your money, because money, everything is energy. Money is energy, but it's a feeling. You know what I'm saying? So people who, and I'm not to shit on nobody's job, because we all trying to make a living, but people who stay at the same job for like 20 plus years, you know what I'm saying? It's because you settled to what was comfortable, whether you were living in survival mode or not. But it's probably from a feeling of what you experienced as a child or a parent, you know what I'm saying? A feeling like you need something to be secure and safe, so you never ascend to higher. So you do stay in the living in a survival mode aspect, because it's like you're not trying to ascend to what you could be, or to live outside of what you've experienced or known your whole life. You just are settling for that because that's easier. And a lot of people choose to take the easier route because they don't want to do the work. This generation is beautiful and powerful, and we're so awakened so young because we are here to break generational curses. A lot of us are here to really break that shit. And I'm very, very, very happy to be one of those people, to be a chosen spirit, to know. I just feel like I know a lot. All right, so let me continue. So when you are living in survival mode, which is living in survival emotions, it doesn't allow you to sustain higher elevated emotions, right? So it doesn't allow you to feel gratitude, to feel unlimited, to feel this high spectrum of things that we are all supposed to feel. We are all supposed to feel these things. But the way that these systems have been in place, the way that life has been created by mankind, it's altered us and kept so many generations in this lower vibrational state of feeling unworthy of ascending. Generations, I have more words, of unlove, shame, fear, doubt, lack of belief in oneself, and still operating with the slave mentality. Still operating with the slave mentality. That is so real. People that, feel, and I'm not shitting on college, but if you feel like that's the only way to success, that's the only way to reaching heights and money and life and wealth, or whatever the hell you think that this success means to you, whatever success means to you, if you think that the route and the way that white people have conditioned us to believing is the way to success, or the way to a good life, or what you're supposed to do in life, what life is about, then that's still thinking with a slave mentality. They do not care about us here. They just want our money, okay? They don't care about nothing. It's all about money. Living here in America is all about money. It's a whole money system. It's a money scheme. You have to just learn and grow out of what you know. You have to want to, though. You have to want and know that, and believe and have faith in yourself. And knowing that, yeah, I know that this is not all to life. I know that I'm not supposed to live in survival mode my whole life. I know that I'm not supposed to be working the same job my whole life. I know that I have other passions that I used to have that may be buried down and within me, but I'm going to find them. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to find my inner child, because your inner child, like children, that's one thing I can say I've learned. I just seen a video on TikTok too, and it was so real. Like, I enjoy being with my siblings more than I enjoy being with adults. For real. Like, because children are so pure. Children are just themselves. They see things so clearly. They don't have these mixed things in their head, that are confusing them. They are just them. When you go back to being exactly who you are just as so much more of a peace and a oneness with everything. And that's how I feel. I journal. I try to journal every day, but I don't journal every day. I journal maybe 3 to 5 times a week, because it feels good. I'm connected with myself inside, and you need to know yourself. You need to know yourself in this life, because living here in America, they will mold you. Living in America, being a black person in America, they will mold you into an archetype that fits the description of what they see us as and what they want us to be. And you have to know that that is not who we are. But you have to know who you are, because they will try to mold you and make you someone and believe that you're something that you're not. And that's the realest thing. Because like I said before, the power of belief will alter your whole reality. So if you believe that you can't do shit, that you ain't come from shit, so you ain't gonna be shit, then you're gonna forever feel like that. And you're never gonna ascend to what you could be, because that's how you feel. And you're living in survival emotions, and you haven't gone up your chakras and opened up your chakras. Because that's real. Everything is energy. We've been so misconstrued our whole lives of what things are. I be talking to myself, like, half the time, like, I don't even tell my family, because I see it so clearly. I see the things that came and happened into their lives that made them believe and think that this is all that life can be for them. So they just stuck with that and settled with that. Of course, they experienced turmoil and not the best experiences. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not blessed. I am blessed. I'm blessed to have a clarity of vision, to be able to see the beauty of everything and see the beauty of what we really can prosper and be in life. It really is a mental thing. It's mental. Like and that's why I say like having slave mentality is so real. So many people are still living in a slave mentality. They don't even realize it because it's been so embedded in them generationally, genetically, right? Their parents used to do that, so then now they did that, and now all they can think about is just making money to see the next day. They can't even see the longevity of life because they're still in survival mode. But it's hard. It takes a lot of unwiring, but you can do it. You know what I'm saying? We can do it. We can. You know, do the journal prompts. Get back to your inner child. Get back to the things you love. Look at pictures and old videos of yourself as a child. Look at how you used to express yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're so quick, like, it hurts my heart when I see like Black parents be so cruel to their child for just being them. Because we've been so hardwired into thinking that you can't be a certain way because you're attracting too much attention. Or they just don't want you to be who you are. They want you to conform. And that's slave mentality right there. Conformity is slave mentality. We're not here to conform. But that's what white Americans do because that's all they know. And I know because I've lived in, and I go to a PWI. I've lived in white areas of town where, yes, it's just conformity. Because they don't have the authenticity like we do to express themselves so freely. So because of that, they become fearful, and then they want to make us feel like we need to be like them, you know? And it's such a whole mind game, and that's why it's so important to reprogram your mind. It is so important to get into the basis of what you believe, what you know, and what you see, and what you think, or what you feel. Feeling is so important, and like that just goes back into everything. It's all such a circle. It comes full circle. Everything's coming full circle. So what I said is how living in survival mode makes you live in survival emotions. So then you do not value how you feel. You don't know how you feel. You can't express how you feel. So now you're just going through life every day with these lower feelings of emotion because you think that's normal, because that's all you've known. So if you live in survival emotions, then you never know how you feel. And that's really just the basis of it. You never know how you feel because you've never had the time, you know, not even taking the time, because some of us, time is money, especially living here. Time is fucking money. So some of us just haven't been blessed to be able to, and I'm one of them. If I'm being real, I don't, my family and my parents were not big on expression and feeling. And I'm trying to remember, like, being home has been a big part of a healing experience for me because I haven't been home. My healing journey started when I moved from home. So being home now is like I'm experiencing and remembering things about my childhood that it was hard for me before. It was very hard. It still is hard for me. I'm picking up pieces and trying, but it's needed. You have to do the work. You have to try to remember. If you are not asked, and this is why I make it such a big deal to ask my siblings now, how do you feel? And I show them a feeling, I show them a wheel of emotions so they can say exactly how they feel. Because if you never are asked that, then as an adult, you can never say how you feel. Because it wasn't valued as a child, right? If you never get asked how you feel as a child, then you think that your feelings don't matter. Because then when you do feel an emotion that is just overwhelming in your expression, then it's like, oh, now you're doing too much, or why are you doing all that? No, you're just expressing yourself. And because you were never taught to express yourself verbally, then you just express yourself naturally. And that's okay. It's okay to feel, and it's okay to express. That's the beauty of life and existence and being a human, is expressing yourself in so many different forms. You don't get asked these questions as a child, then you go through life, and that's why we have so many emotionally unavailable men, because Black men have to be super tough. That's all they know, right? That's all they conditioned to believe that they have to be. They can't express themselves or be emotionally aware of themselves, or then demasculinize a Black man because he's just showing emotion outside of anger, outside of tough, outside of numb. because that is how majority of our men are. And it's probably also because a lot of niggas be fucking getting shit happen to them as they were young. But as a black man, they never really get the freedom to express how they feel. It's just supposed to be like, all right, back to normal programming, back to doing what you have to do, back to portraying this image of strength. And same with women too. Same with us being black people as a totality, okay? We have to express ourselves. That is the first step to our freedom, is feeling. Because when you allow yourself to feel everything, then you can ascend and feel the higher feelings of everything, the unlimitedness of the world, of life, and we can do it. I'm going to start giving some recommendations of different books to read, different prompts, journal prompts, to understand the feelings of yourself that you just aren't able to express. Because it was hard for me. For a long time, my throat chakra was closed. I think a year ago, this time last year, my throat chakra was very closed. I could not say how I felt. And I couldn't say how I felt because my family never asked me how I felt as a child. So my mom doesn't say how she feels. My dad, he always invalidated how I felt. So I just became quiet. I became very quiet. So I would just feel things to myself. I would just talk to myself and be like, all right, that's enough. You know what I'm saying? And kind of dismissing my emotions because of that. And now being an adult, it's like, girl, you got to speak up for yourself. I was quiet. I didn't speak up for myself. People used to be mean to me. I just was not who I am today, obviously. But that's just because of the things that I was growing up in. And that's why it's so important to unwire and unbreak these fucking cycles that your parents have normalized and that our grandparents have normalized, because they were just doing what they knew. And that's why it's so important to feed your brain, to learn more, to know more. Because the more you know, the more you grow. The more you flourish, the more you shine, and you be exactly who you were meant to be in this lifetime, in this existence, and in this body. You know what I'm saying? If I never took the time out to get out of these lower emotions, living in survival mode, I would have done half the shit I've done now at the age of 21, and it's just the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But it's because I knew that I was capable, I was worthy, I was able. I knew that all the things that I wanted were right there. I never not seen myself achieving great things. And that's just because I knew it, you know? As a child, I knew it. Like, I wanted to be a fashion designer at 8 years old. Like, stop playing with me. I watched, and I fantasized, because and that's the thing too, with me, I loved watching real life stuff. Like, I didn't really like watching cartoons. I wanted to see real shit, because then it allowed me to see myself in it. Like, I loved watching America's Next Top Model. I loved watching Project Runway. And shows like that really stimulated, I think, my mind young to seeing the things that were capable. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful. My mom definitely also, my family, don't get me wrong, as much as I would say love was not shown to me in the most clearest way, they always ensured that my passions, I still did and lived in my passions. I never didn't live in my passions. And I'm very grateful that my family made opportunities happen for me to continuously pursue my passions as a child and up into high school. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but we have to unshackle ourselves. We have to unshackle ourselves from living in survival mode, because that is an energy just so low and so poor, and we are so much more than what they try to portray us and make us feel like we are, because we're here. So I want to say thank you to anyone who subscribed to my channel, who watches my videos, who feels anything from the things that I say. It's taken a lot of confidence within myself to be seen so apparently, you know, so clearly, through my voice and visually. So thank you for seeing me for who I am and wanting to hear me. Toodles, and thank you guys for everything.